farmers face increasing pressure to shift production towards lower input systems while continuing to ensure sufficient supplies of food and non-food products. The overall use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers and the loss of nutrients will have to be seriously reduced by 2030. Intercropping has shown significant potential to increase resource efficiency and resilience. With all of this in mind, 27 organizations from 15 countries and 3 continents, supported by the Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Programme, are implementing a project called IntercropVALUES. It started in 2022, and after 1 year, partners are meeting in Bonn, Germany, to assess their performance and plan together their activities for the coming year.
In intercropping, we normally have 2 or more crops grown together, and they have different patterns of growth in terms of time and space. So they are able to make efficient use of resources, and also the 2 crops are susceptible to different pests and diseases. So together they can reduce the need for pesticides.
IntercropVALUES aims to design and manage resilient, profitable and environmentally friendly cropping systems that are acceptable to farmers and agri-food chain actors. This ambitious goal involves the development of 13 co-innovation case studies, known as KICs, in Europe and Africa.
KICs are co-innovation case studies that we have for the project. They aim at developing different value chains around intercropping with the local actors.
The leaders of the KICs, representing both conventional and organic farming, as well as short and long value chains, have set their own objectives and agenda during this first year.
Most of them will try to understand really what are the different barriers that are blocking them from creating these value chains. And also one of the most important activity that is put in place in those KICs are the farm experiments. KICs are co-designing on-farm experimentations with farmers to see which mixtures they want to test out, on which field that is part of the farm, and see the different objectives of these on-farm experimentations.
In Bonn, with a truly participatory approach, participants discussed topics such as identifying the barriers of intercropping or ways to describe and measure the ecosystem services delivered by intercropping, for which participants had to show their drawing skills.
So ecosystem services are the services that ecosystems are able to provide for human well-being and quality of life. So for agricultural ecosystems, the obvious things that they provide are food and feed and fibre, but they can also provide other services such as climate regulation and soil formation.
Partners have also held a workshop to learn how to write convincing policy briefs. All agree that researchers are nowadays asked to explain to society and policymakers the knowledge derived from their works and experiments in a comprehensive way.
It helps us to inform consumers about the food they are eating and what the associated services are when those crops are grown in the field. And another one relates to the development of agricultural policy. If we understand what services are provided by intercrops, then we can help to develop useful policies to support the production of intercrops.
A step forward in this project will be to find market opportunities for intercropping products, such as bread, pasta, or beer, based on attributes such as taste, healthy food, correct price, or reduced environmental impact.
So there are 3 things that relate to the economics of intercropping. One is potential cost savings. How can some of the labor costs, or especially the pesticide and the fertilizer costs, be reduced through intercropping? And secondly, there are all kinds of ecosystem services that society can benefit from, like better water regulation, more biodiversity. And thirdly, intercropping may also bring new products in which you combine beans, for example, with wheat into new pastas or new breads, and for which new value chains can be developed.
Intercropping has proven to be beneficial for many reasons, although new results will come after 4 years. The more than 60 participants come from Europe, Africa, and Asia and represent not only different farming systems, but also a great cultural and linguistic diversity.
You need to know that even in tropical zone, some government want to decrease the use of intercropping. So, which is quite different than in Europe, we want to increase it. So we need to see what could be helpful to convince the interest of having intercropping on board in that century in tropical zone, because intercropping could be one of the solutions to increase the production.
There was also time to enjoy a guided tour by the team of the University of Bonn. The participants heard about the history and architecture while walking the campus to the center, where they enjoyed a consortium dinner.
It was a pleasure for us to welcome all the partners of the project here in Bonn. Several of the participants never came to Bonn, so it was their first time, and we could show the university, the city, the Rhine River, and we had a nice dinner also together.
The first zone crops last June 2023 in Austria were a good opportunity to lay the groundwork for the rest of the experiments, as most of the intercropping experiments will start this autumn 2023 and others in spring 2024. They now go back home with a lot of learning already done, and quite some more research and activities to display.